Welcome to Sleepless Ronin Plays, a review and a reaction. I've kind of been avoiding doing these for a little while, and I don't know why. I've really wanted to jump into this kind of a arena as well. But today, after watching the season finale of The Mandalorian Season 2, I had to sit down and make a video talking about this whole thing. This is the revival of Star Wars I've been looking for. This is everything I've wanted to see in a Star Wars show, Star Wars movie, since Rogue One. But this was the culmination of so much. This was such an epic ending. And I'm just going to stop right here and say, if you have not watched the episode, stop it. Don't listen to me any further. Just stop right here, go and watch the episode, then come back and finish the video. Because seriously, I'm going to be just talking spoilers like crazy from this point on. Talking and theorizing and guessing. Just stop what you're doing and go watch the episode. Trust me, it is absolutely worth it. With that being said, I've given you enough of a warning. I'm going to dive right on in. We open up coming into this episode with a fantastically fun little space battle. And we get to see a Lambda-class shuttle again, which is a whole lot of fun in my opinion. I've always loved that ship style, that ship design. I do love the pure ruthlessness and brutality we're going to see in it, we see right here. I just love how much this guy taunts Cara Dune. He's asking to die. I think he's actually trying to get the scientist killed. And I thought that was really kind of a cool element because he's brutal. But he also brings up that thing that everybody likes to talk about. You find all the internet memes about how many people died on this Death Star. Well, he's talking about it. This is something they bring up. It's like they're not just leaving this lie out there.
Do you know how many millions were killed on those bases?
This shuttle pilot has been to the Death Star. He knows how many millions died on those stations. Not to give sympathy to the evil empire, but he brings it up. And so far this episode is really just playing pretty heavily up in a lot of fan service right here. We've already had the Imperial Shuttle, Slave Run, Boba Fett, all cool. Now we're back to having Bo-Katan, played by Katie Sackhoff, on screen again, and we got outside in the we had the Gauntlet Starfighter landed on some, I have no idea what planet this is. I don't know where we are at all. But we're in a cantina fight, or in a cantina scene. They're going to be fighting against Boba Fett, beating up on, I totally forget who this other Mandalorian is. And, well, actually, more like she's beating up on him, but I digress. It's pretty cool anyways. But I also like the fact that in this scene, Bo-Katan's not being friendly. She's like ex-Death Watch. She's not meant to be a friendly person all the time. Actually, she wasn't friendly to the Mando earlier when she was introduced in the season, but that doesn't matter. She's still not friendly. She got her own goals. That's really what matters. And she's like aiming for them. So she'll help, but only in the service of her goals. Get back the Darksaber, get a cruiser, yada yada yada. All these things are good. I mean, I really enjoy that. It makes her character more interesting, that she's not like just doing this to, oh, I'm going to help the Mando. No, forget it. I also like the fact that she just like picks on Boba Fett. You're a clone. I've heard hundreds of your voices, or thousands, or whatever she says. It's great. There's so much antagonism. We got information in this episode about what happened to Mandalore. They mentioned in that prior episode that Mandalore, like Alderaan, was gone, or something bad had happened to it. In this one, we learn that Mandalore was glassed by the Empire. I mean, it already was a desert wasteland. If we remember the images from Rebels. Mandalore is pretty much a big old wasteland with domed cities. I guess the Empire got really pissed at it, probably during, as we learned in the episode with Bill Burr, Operation Cinder. Play Battlefront 2, the video game, to see that information. We learned in this episode, Mandalore is glassed. I'm going to guess that means the cities are gone. Sounds bad for Mandalore. Again, I absolutely loved seeing the Lambda-class shuttle. So seeing it again in this trick scene was just a lot of fun. But I love this scene for so many other reasons. Beyond the fact that I swear Moff Gideon recognizes the voice on the comms, because you got to get the Darksaber from Bo-Katan somehow in the Purge or whatever. So, very interesting. But I love watching these TIE fighters launch, because you would never get me to launch a ship like that. That alley is way too damn narrow to want to launch a ship down. That looks terrifying. Oops, I jinked to the left and I'm toast. But I still think, if you look at Moff Gideon's face when he's listening to Bo-Katan talking over the comms system. He recognized, I swear he recognized that voice. He knows what's happening, which is really odd that he doesn't act earlier. Because look at that expression on Giancarlo Esposito's face. He knows. He knows something. So, I makes me interesting that he doesn't activate the Dark Troopers earlier, because you'd think he would, unless he's got something else planned and going on here. So I love watching this thing crash also. Just hello. I love that ship. I also love watching the fire spray fight the backwards shots or his swiveling cannons. Either which way. Fire spray patrol ships are pretty cool. It was also confirmed to us in this episode. We learned from Dr. Pershing that he's a whole platoon or battalion or whatever of Dark Troopers. We're even mentioned that they're Phase 3 Dark Troopers. That's interesting. Where are the Phase 1 and 2s? I think we might see them in the Bad Batch trailer or whatever we saw from the big old announcement from Disney not too long ago. I think those might be Mark 1s. Are the things that Thrawn's fighting in Rebels when he's training, are those Mark 2s? I don't know, but the Dark Trooper Phase 3s are awesome. I also love the fact that we have this entire female combat squad moving in. I think that was great. And do not, oh man, the whole scene where like the Mandalorians come up over the bridge and just take out the stormtroopers. People in this episode on both sides tend to forget jetpacks exist. I mean, the Mandos right there jump in and they take out a whole bunch of stormtroopers. And in a bit, we're going to see Din Djarin is going to space the Dark Troopers because, oh no, I have to get them out of the ship or whatever. We saw them land on Tython from the ship. They can fly. Putting them in this space isn't going to do jack to a Dark Trooper. It's a droid, and it's... Oh no, I'm in space. Yeah, you're not doing anything by spacing them. Jetpacks exist, people. They exist. In Star Wars, at least. What I think is interesting about watching the Dark Troopers actually in action is you get this feel that the animators or the special effects artists for them really drew on two major sources. The Terminator films, because the really abrupt, jarring stop motions that these things are fighting with is very Terminator-esque. And the whole scene where the thing's lighting on fire, that looks very, very Judgment Day to me. So, hooray for that image. And also, you can also tell that they were drawing on the Avengers Age of Ultron. They were obviously drawing on that in some ways because of how the suits also tend to move, especially when they fly and they land, are very much like an Iron Man suit. Ka-chunk, landing and stuff like that. So you can really see how the special effects artists have been drawing upon essentially all the resources they have available inside of Disney. Since Disney owns Fox, Disney owns Marvel, and you've got all these resources to make really cool live-action droids. And I can't help when I'm watching Ming-Na Wen fight, I keep thinking Agent May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they really are, using some of her talents as an actual martial arts fighter. So it's pretty cool to watch. It's a lot of fun. The fanboy in me really enjoyed watching the lightsaber combat scene between Gideon and the Mando, which is actually really interesting because if you think about it, Gideon's actually really pretty good with this Darksaber, in all truth. He gets beaten by the Mando because the Mando has an unfair advantage. He's wearing pure Beskar. That's actually something we learned in this episode also. Seems like Beskar potentially, if it's, mixed or whatever, potentially with other metals or something like that, or if it's not pure, may not block lightsabers. So that's an interesting one. It's almost like they rolled in the old Cordylite or whatever. I can't remember the exact name of it. There's this old mineral they had in Star Wars that they actually use in one of the Thrawn books that can essentially diffuse energy from lightsabers and blaster hits, which is what it seems like in many ways Beskar does. So they rolled that mineral into Beskar, I think. I don't know 100%. But anyways, this is an awesome lightsaber fight, but I love this end bit right here. This whole thing where the Mando brings in Moff Gideon, because Moff Gideon, even though he's been defeated, absolutely does not look like he's lost at all. This man is overly confident for his situation, which is because he knows this. He knows there's something going on, and I absolutely love the fact that he's playing the two Mandalorian groups off of each other now. So it's a lot of fun. He's a schemer. I really, really hope that we see him again in next season. I'm really hoping he comes back because he's been a lot of fun on screen. For the little bit of time he's actually gotten, he's very personable as a evil character, and it is a lot of fun because because he really plays the role up very well.
Must be one in battle. In order for her to wield the Darksaber again, she would need to defeat you.
This scene actually confused me a little bit. I was shocked because, what do you mean he can't give the Darksaber to Bo-Katan? Sabine did earlier. I mean, that's how Rebels goes. She just kind of gives it, here, you take this and go and rule us because you deserve to. But no, apparently the important word in this whole thing was again. So, I don't know. Bo-Katan now that Mandalore's glassed or whatever, buying more into the Mandalorian saga and lore is very interesting, I guess. I mean, it's very odd to me because it's kind of like weird how they played it completely the opposite of Rebels. In Rebels, here's the Darksaber, go and rule.
It came to me so I could pass it to you.
In this one, here's the Darksaber, no, I can't take it. But that leaves us a big question at the very end of this whole episode. What happens between the Mando and Bo-Katan? Because we don't see them after the doors close. And if you've seen the episode, you know exactly what I mean. After the door close, boom, we're in credits. Sometimes, we're talking about fan service again, sometimes I really hate the internet. I turn on my phone this morning, and I get a blast that makes me immediately just turn the thing off because I don't want to read any damn word more because it spoiled a small part of this episode. Well, it spoiled a big part of this episode for me, and I was really ticked about it because I knew what was happening, and I was very unhappy that I knew what was happening right here because they did it so well. They hid it. They hid the elements so well in this that it just really, really irked me. All the scenes are shot in black and white, so you can't tell the color of the X-Wing. Is it blue? Is it red? Is it green? We don't know. We don't see. We see this guy fighting the hallway. The lightsaber is white. It's not black and white. We don't know who this is. I mean, we have a lot of guesses that we are pretty accurate on. But they're hiding it a little bit. It's making us, wonder. It's awesome. And then we see shots like this, where he's got the black gloved hand gripping the lightsaber hilt. Oh, that's so good. It's so amazing. It's so well done. You know who this is at this point in time. And you're waiting. How is this being done? Who's playing him? Oh. And I'll tell you, it was so epic. Just the reveal is so wonderful. Just awesome. And I also love that Moff Gideon is going to try to, not be there when he comes in. He's actually scared. I think the first time you actually see Moff Gideon scared is when he knows what's happening. The instant he sees that lightsaber, that real one, there's fear in his eyes. I love that. It is well played. Well played. And then there's, of course, the big reveal itself. This is so well done. Look at him. He looks like he's actually pulled right from Return of the Jedi. I mean, who's playing him? Because, that's got to be one of those CGI puppet things they did, like they did with Tarkin and Leia in Rogue One. But I don't care. This is so cool. This is... oh, this was absolutely fantastic. This whole scene, though, too, it's touching, it's emotional. There's so much connection between Grogu and Din Djarin. It's so well done between a guy in a helmet, not always, and a little green puppet. It's so well played. It really, it feels great right here. I'll even admit, I teared up a little bit while watching this. It was it was amazingly good. And the first few lines he says, I literally thought, oh, they just cut these clips from other things. They sound like they were just lifted from prior work. But then he actually adds lines that are not there. So, yeah, I'm guessing that they got Mark Hamill to come back and do these lines. But there's more going on. Still, the emotion between The emotion in this scene is just so well done. You get it's so well conveyed. Whoever the puppeteers are, they're doing Grogu. They did a really good job. I mean, it's like the touching of the face, that stuff, making the touching the helmet. That's just so well done. And when he grips onto his leg, it's just so cute. Also, they created a very cute little green ring. R2D2. Sorry, I know I'm just interrupting myself, but the reveal of R2D2 in this scene, that got me too. That so got me. Was you get R2? I love the little back of it. He's like R2's looking at the thing. Oh no, another green thing. Is this gonna be like the other one? Is it gonna poke me and prod me and yank it stuff? And yet they seem to have a conversation, beeps and whistles and chirps and whatever the heck Grogu makes for noises. It's really well done. It was a lot of fun. The droid and the little green guy are talking. It's so much fun. I mean, we've kind of covered most of the review of the episode at this point in time. I really loved it. Obviously, you can tell. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that goes, screams and jumps and hollers and falls over to my chair when I'm doing a review. I think I'm a bit passionate about it. I just really love what they did. And I gotta say, though, just right here, looking at the credits, I'm gonna roll a bit the credits now. Favreau and Filoni, and I think Hidalgo needs to be mentioned too, are literally the saviors of Star Wars. They are the ones that are keeping this alive properly. They're the proper resurrection of it. They are going to be the people they're taking it forward into the next era. These next 10 reveals we've got with all the new shows and the new movies. The fact that it's so much is probably being done by Favreau, Filoni, and with Hidalgo. That's the heart of Star Wars. Those three people are the triumvirate that keep Star Wars going. And of course, if we're watching these credits, I love the fact that you're sitting here looking at the starring cast, and when you get to Mark Hamill, I was blown away. It's Mark Hamill, but there's a catch. I know he had to come back to do the voice, and of course they used his image from Return of the Jedi time period, because that's not actually his body. That he's played by someone else. It says double for Jedi. Max Lloyd Jones. So Max Lloyd Jones is our body double that they did paste over some sort of CGI creation along the lines of Tarkin and Leia from Rogue One. And you know what? It's working. I think he actually did a better job in this than they did in the movie. And I actually thought the movie did a really good job on Tarkin and a pretty good job on Leia. Could have been better on Leia. But this one was actually, I think, better than both of them. And this is for the show, but that's showing that they've moved the technology along since they made Rogue One, which is good. And yes, I was saving it. Post-credit sequence after talking about the credits. Because this post-credit sequence, we're on Tatooine. We're going to Jabba's palace. But we've got Fat Bib Fortuna. Or Thick Fortuna. Some kind of crazy name. It's obviously Bib Fortuna. And he's all bulked out. He's been ruling this place since Jabba's death. 5 years prior? I can't remember the exact time when Mando happens versus the end of Return of the Jedi. And I thought, what's going to happen here? Is this going to be Sabine coming out of the hallway who just shot that dude? Because Sabine was rumored to be in this. We're going to quickly see. This is so not Sabine. Here we have Fennec Shand. We have her coming down the stairs. I thought maybe that it would have been Sabine. Upon thinking about it a bit more, I begin to realize I think that some of the people that may have seen some of the Mandalorian helmets early, like before the season was aired, thought that some of the Night Owl helmets were one of Sabine's helmets, because Sabine has a very similar motif in the bird she paints on her helmet, which I think is also an owl. It's just, hers is always much more colorful than theirs, so I think people are just getting confused. And it wasn't Sabine we ever saw in this season. I hope that she does show up, but I expect to see her more like in Ahsoka's show when we get that. We have now learned what season, I'm assuming, is Mandalorian Season 3's title, since the Book of Boba Fett is coming December 2021, which we've already learned that The Mandalorian Season 3 is dropping, I do believe it's December 3rd, 2021. So we have slightly more than a year to wait, slightly less than a year to wait before we get to rejoin our favorite Outer Rim bounty hunters doing whatever they're going to do, because where's this going? This whole Boba Fett thing was not what I was expecting at all. But at the same time, we still need to resolve the Mandalorian issue, the whole Darksaber thing. So we've got several plot threads left hanging. Also, what happens to Gideon? Does Gideon have a backer? What about Thrawn? I expect Thrawn will be dealt with in the Ahsoka's thing, but I'm fairly certain that we know at this point in time. They've already told us that Rangers of the Republic, Ahsoka, and The Mandalorian are all kind of like going to be concurrent series. We've got so much Star Wars to look forward to. Obi-Wan, Andor, Rogue Squadron movie, The Rangers of the Republic, Ahsoka, next season of this, Bad Batch. What a time for Star Wars. I can't wait to watch everything that's coming up. And I really wish I'd done more reviews for this season of The Mandalorian because it ended on such an amazing high note. So much better than the movies have been recently. This was Star Wars at its core element. So good. So very good. Well, that's been my review, reaction to this episode of The Mandalorian. Please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to start doing more review content on top of my normal play content. And I'm going to start doing some more history content as well. I'm really just trying to experiment with a lot of things that I personally enjoy. They're all things I play with, which is why it works under plays. But please, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. This is SleeplessRonin saying, sayonara, and may the Force be with you. Ow.